Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Commentaria's Magic Stream on tonight, Sunday, November 18th, 2018. I am, as always, Grandpaws.
Big Cheese is about 30,000 feet up, and unfortunately is well out of Wi-Fi range, but I'm Arakat.
I don't know, I've purchased Wi-Fi on flights before. I think he's just being lazy.
I don't know. Do you really trust the latency on that? Because it's got to, bounce off a satellite and some other stuff.
I just kind of want to hear him talking and then hear the seatbelt notification ding on and off multiple times.
Everyone go ahead and strap your seats in. We're in for a lot of turbulence here.
Also, if you haven't seen the latest spoilers from Friends Forever, please direct your attention to the seatbacks in front of you. Be pretty good, right?
I don't
Be
know.
okay?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Not so sure?
No. 30,000 feet. I'm either, reading a book or asleep at that point. Can't really blame them. Anyway.
We are here with a somewhat unexpected stream, I guess, is how you could call it.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, although this also could get us back onto our normal bi-weekly cadence. That's cadence spelled with an E, by the way.
Could be both. There can be multiple cadences. KDI?
I'm not buying
Whatever. Whatever the plural of that is. But it's been quite a week for spoilers so far.
Yes. I think we've had 6 of them in the past week. From all kinds of various community figures.
Some of whom chose to release theirs in rather trolly manners.
Tricky manners, I'd say.
Trixie manners?
Possibly. It might be taking it a bit far.
Maybe. But we'll get to that here in a moment. In fact, it's probably a good time to just kind of recap what we've seen so far this week, because there's been a lot of information revealed, some of which we'll be talking about more in depth, and some of which we might be adding to.
Huh.
So, let's kind of run them down. Let's run down the spoilers that we've seen so far since our last stream through various community guests or figures or groups.
Alright. Let's see. First up, we've got this little number here, which this is pretty adorable. Just look at their little smiles. Aren't those great?
It is.
This was foiled by Cloud Chaser and Flutter Explain. Written, of course, by Bugle.
It's a great Tumblr if you haven't had a chance to visit it yet.
And it, of course, goes with the blog's namesakes, who are, of course, adorable here. I don't know. I'm just looking at their cute little smiles, because that's pretty adorable.
I mean, how can you be upset about that? It's so cute. But let's look at the card. Apart from the fact that it definitely rivals Sweetie Belle for Adorabides level.
I don't know. I think, okay, tearing myself away from the adorable little smiles, the game text on this, I think, basically blows Sweetie Belle or Adorabides out of the water.
Oh, there's no question about that. This is a powerful, powerful card.
Yeah. So let's start out here with the effect off of Forest Owl. I'm already a fan of this.
I like Forest Owl. Forest Owl was a good card.
Let's go ahead and add on to that the Premier Cloud Chaser ability from, Premier on that rare card that everyone...
that one card that went in everything?
Yeah, and was worth like $30 at one point? Yeah, that card. And let's make it immediate.
So, 2 great tastes that taste great together?
2 great tastes that have only been improved and taste extremely great together.
Now, notably, there are some differences here between what we saw with Forest Owl and what we saw with Cloud Chaser. Although the card is in those colors.
Well, let me point out the most important difference here. You see that number up in the corner?
Yeah.
2?
Yeah.
You know what it isn't?
What, a 1?
It's not a 0.
It is not a 0. This is true.
So,
But I don't. But you know, that's a thing. It's also not a 1.
Well,
It's a 2.
I'd argue that a 1 is almost better because then I can random it. Wait, I'm the only person who uses that. Wait, never mind.
Yeah, this is a very strong card. It does, of course, have the disadvantage over both Forest Owl and CC in that you do need to have color requirement in each of these colors. But there's one deck in particular that isn't really going to mind starting with Trading Traditions when you're naming blue-yellow, in spite of the possibility of Tempest flipping and blocking off your problem. And that main is Bluna. And spoilers, Bluna also happens to like playing friends at immediate speed, as cheaply as you can.
Yeah, this seems good for quite a number of reasons.
It's like it does everything you want it to.
And then some.
And then some. This is especially interesting as well because though blue has access to a number of hasty cards, generally you see Bluna decks supplement with a secondary color like pink. Or purple in some cases. I know Godot likes running Bluna purple. But we haven't really seen Bluna yellow that often. Although I believe we did end up seeing Bluna yellow in top 16 at Continentals just a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I can almost guarantee you that this card would be a perfect fit in there.
I highly suspect it would. Like, if you can handle these two colors and you like playing friends, you should probably run 3 copies of this. Should really think about running 3 copies of it, in fact.
It's another something that you'll want to watch for with Scootaloo as well, because it does have good synergies with Scootaloo, but the 1/1 rec is a little bit more of an obstacle, just because it means it'll come down a little bit later, since Scootaloo will likely be starting with lacking lesson plans.
It is, but the nice thing about this is that Scootaloo can keep this at problems fairly easily as long as she's got any kind of momentum.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, the main problem with this, as far as Scootaloo is concerned, is that it exhausts.
Right. So if Scootaloo chooses to move it home, she's not able to use its modifier on the opponent's turn as an immediate speed trick for Rutherford or something.
But that also gives you the flexibility to go either way with it if you need.
Right. If you want to use it on your turn to more easily start DFOs, you can absolutely do that. And of course, it's got a lot of synergy with any deck that really likes going wide, because it boosts all your characters at that problem. So if you're playing token strategies, or if you've got a bunch of cheap things and you're doing conga line movement, a great addition.
Yeah.
Next card.
Silverstream, everything's new.
I'll wait till we get to the boosted side.
You'll wait till we get to the boosted. Yeah. Okay, so an ultra rare main. It's pink.
We've only seen one of those before.
Like, best student on it, basically. Deal with it.
It's a pretty good student. The flip condition is interesting. An immediate speed ability. While this card is at a problem with 2 or more other characters, turn it over. So this is an ability that you can activate, and if that card is at the problem with 2 or more other characters when you activate it, it flips. Note that that does not say 2 of your own characters.
Anyone's characters.
Your opponent's characters count here.
Although it must be other characters.
Correct.
She doesn't count herself.
So she's got an interesting flip condition.
Yeah, it's a relatively easy one, too.
Not too bad. Let's see let's see what the boosted side gives
Let's
you.
talk about her boosted side, yes.
I think there's just
So
one word
first
that...
off, I'd like to say this. I've spent most of my life in coral reef underwater. I was a sea pony, but now I'm a hippogriff. Long story. Anyway, wow! Is that a yak?
There's one word that comes to mind looking
Honk.
at this card. Honk.
Okay, let's yes, I enjoy the art on this one too. But let's look at the game text here. Eccentric 2 on a main, which, by the way, this can show up at immediate speed. If it's just, chilling, start side at a problem, and then it's like, surprise, Eccentric 2. So that's already like, okay, that can be decent. But then the second part of this is pretty amazing. When you confront this card's problem, you may exhaust it to draw a card. So, aggro decks tend to confront problems.
Usually.
As aggro decks do.
Yeah.
And this is very good at rolling up to a problem that an aggro deck is currently confronting and going, you're no longer confronting that. Furthermore, I'm going to confront that. And then I'm not going to be confronting it because I'm going to exhaust Silverstream to draw a card. And card draw is already good, but now I'm not confronting a problem anymore, and that's great because that means that your opponent can't revenge face-off against you.
Can't punish you with a single problem face-off?
Right. And they're going to look at Silverstream and just be like, yes, that is a yak, and then they're going to put some more power at the problem and confront again, and then Silverstream's going to ready and go, hey, let's have a single problem face-off.
On my terms.
Uh-huh.
How angry does this card make me, Arakat?
This card makes you very angry. Like, I'm pretty sure that describing your tiltedness at an angle, it's over 90 degrees. Obtusely tilted.
This is a card that is single-minded in its purpose of wrecking opposing aggro decks.
And it's also in the colors that are really, really good at that.
Yeah, go figure, right? It gives you card advantage, it slows down the opponent, it plays massive amounts of face-off chicken, and it can flip at immediate speed through solely your opponent's methods. The best example we can give of this is with the new lacking lessons plans problem, which many confront to flip mains are going to be running, they'll generally be relying on their main plus maybe one other character there to be able to flip as early as turn 2. You might see Aloe, Flim and Flam, things like that.
Let me tell you my turn 1 play with this card against an aggro deck that's running lacking lesson plans.
Go for it.
Pay 2, move Silverstream to your problem. Grin. Pass turn.
And then your opponent goes, well, I was going to be able to confront, but now I'll be facing down Eccentric 2, which means my starting problem just became a 6/6. And if I go after that, my opponent's going to be able to flip their main.
And then start playing face-off Hippogriff.
Face-off sea chicken. So, yes. Excellent main with a very unique playstyle. We'll really have to see what Silverstream ends up doing to the meta. Provides another method of kind of putting up obstacles for aggro early without having to rely on troublemakers.
I think she's going to burn the world.
Okay, I am on board with
face-off tuna.
Face-off tuna. It's the chicken of the sea.
Salmon juice, maybe. I don't know.
Very, very nice sonnet. Fairy Cards has challenged me to a game once I get this card, or once she gets this card. I'm already regretting saying yes. All right, let's move on.
Trixie hat trick. We
should actually mention both of those cards were designed by Bugle as well.
Yes, maybe not in. I don't remember the exact details of this. I think one of them was just please put the duo on a card, and the other one was, hey, I think this would be some cool game text, I believe.
Mm-hmm. One of them more mechanical, one of them more flavor-wise.
I like both.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with either one. Nothing wrong with this one either.
No? Although, before we talk about this, I have to give... I want to say I want to tip my hat, but I want to give some props to Hithrock for how he spoiled this one. Those of you who participate in the Reddit will know that Hithrock does a card of the day, and normally people get to vote on what the next card is. So Hithrock, being a gigantic troll after Princess Rob's own heart, just posts this as the card of the day and doesn't tell anybody. And then just waits for it.
It took a little while, but people picked up on it.
Yeah, and it was great, because people are like, oh yeah, this wait, I don't remember this Trixie.
Everyone thought it was some old card they had completely forgotten about. Nope.
Nope, brand new card, actually.
See, look, there's Fairy seeing it for the first time.
Yeah. I know there's a little certain gray something in her hat.
Male mare?
I don't know. Like a Pegasus that gets lost quite a bit.
Maybe. So, we see a new ability tag word here. Harmony.
Yeah, we're not quite sure what this means yet. Bugle had some pretty good speculation on this.
We might get into it later tonight.
Yeah. But just looking at this ability, this is an ability that any purple thing should just love.
Oh yeah.
Discounts on events.
Now, to a minimum floor, which is important.
You say this like we haven't discovered exactly why.
Don't make things free, kids.
No, don't make things free.
Or at least don't make non-friend things free.
Yes. When this or another one of your unicorn friends enters play, pay one less to for your next event this turn to a minimum of 1. I like cost reduction. You know what else is a unicorn?
Bodyguard?
Well, I mean, Bodyguard makes lots of unicorn tokens, but yeah, sure, that.
Sure. Unicorn tokens? Huh.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what else is a unicorn? Ursa Vanquisher.
Huh. How about that?
And it's like that card enters and leaves play multiple times.
Yeah. Strange. Seems like that could be good or something.
Yeah. We'll have to see what else is in store for unicorn synergies.
Yeah. But most important to Hithrock, it's got a picture of Trixie on it. Good card.
Let's see what's next.
Alright, next up, oh god, what is this? That's pretty horrifying.
It would be adorable if her jaw wasn't really, really long.
Yeah. Like, the card itself, just the art is pretty horrifying, and then you have to look at the little filly's face and you're like, wait, that doesn't quite line up. So something is very concerning here.
Please take it away not using this card. The eyes.
Yeah. So imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, but Princess Cadence just looks horrified here.
You can kind of see her face in the upper left-hand corner of the card, and
yeah,
she is,
It's that polite, but very, very disgusted look that royalty just is great at giving. It's like, that's lovely, sweetie.
Can you blame her? She's getting flashbacks. That disguise is so authentic.
Yeah. Okay.
Go for it.
This is an accessory, and played on a friend. Not necessarily your friend, but that friend has +2 power. It's also fairly cheap, and at 3 rec, fairly accessible in white.
So it's like a 10 carat hat. It's nothing. It's a little higher on the rec for 10 carat hat, but effectively still does the same thing.
Yeah. What if you have a changeling? I don't know, that little filly kind of looks like a changeling.
And you play it on that changeling.
It gets +4 power instead. That's a significantly better power ratio.
Now we're talking some value here. 1 AT for 4 power in white is kind of on par with what you'd end up seeing Octavia do.
Yeah.
Now we've got it permanently?
Yep. Let's see, this is from Once Upon a Zeppelin.
And for those of you still holding on to your rarity dressmaker decks, I mean, you can jam it in there. It's another hat. It's technically a hat.
It is technically a hat.
It goes on the head.
Mm-hmm. Although you can get those little boots there too.
And we see this Harmony text, this italicized text show up again. This time it's Harmony Changeling instead of Harmony Unicorn. It's a front hat. Nice, Swear Frog. Let's take a look at what's next.
Next up we have Starlight Glimmer Guidance Counselor.
Don't say that subtitle.
That's a concerning subtitle. That's a really concerning subtitle, but it's okay. She's got
empathy, Coco.
Yeah, she does have empathy, Coco. And unlike the other card with this subtitle, this one's a bit kinder to you. It only just gains you some action tokens.
Yeah, this one's probably fine. We've seen this effect before.
Yeah, this is okay.
Now, a lot of people have questioned with cards like Factory Jack and Paper Twilight still hanging around, is anyone actually going to play this card?
And kind of on the other side of that fence, do we really need more action token advantage?
The answer to that second question is, of course. Never don't not be gaining more AT.
That's really
never don't not. I think that was one too many.
It's really too bad that this isn't a Trixie card, because then it'd be like, was there ever any doubt?
Right. But Starlight does actually serve an interesting purpose here. First off, much like Factory Jack, she is playable off of just a single purple requirement, but unlike Factory Jack, she can be played without access to orange. Which means if you're running a purple main that you might want to flip later in the game, or might just have to flip later in the game, like Ambassador of Friendship, or Trixie, or Starlight.
The other Starlight.
You can play this right away. Turn 2, or turn 1 if you're going second and you have a second chance. The other thing to note is that unlike Paper Twilight, this card can be exhausted at immediate speed, which means you can dodge one of the most prevalent pieces of friend-based friend removal that we saw at Continentals, which was DJ Pony Breakdown. Since you can simply exhaust this on your opponent's turn.
After their main phase, of course.
After their main phase. And again, unlike Paper Twi, this card actually gives you color requirement in purple, and that is very, very meaningful. It is more expensive, and it's not stubborn. But you don't need to run Trading Traditions. It can serve as a method of getting you into purple requirement before your main flips. And I can see certain decks like BRB replacing some of their cards with this.
Yes, the fact that this exhausts at immediate speed is also very relevant. See the previous discussion about Silverstream.
Hey, I'll confront on my turn and not on your turn.
And you can do the exhaustion at a point where this is not vulnerable to breakdown, but also does not confront on their turn. So it's like the best of all worlds. Seems good.
Yeah. All right, I think we've got,
Yeah.
what, one more?
Maybe one more. I'd also like to point out that, yes, I've heard a lot of comments about this going, where's the art, where's the meme face? We'll just have to see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Anyway, moving on. This, I believe, was a spoiler from Meticulous Talks, specifically done by Cursed Chords. And I think this is like everything that Cursed Chords could want out of a problem. It's got Celestia on it, it's yellow, and it does very fun things if you happen to be playing against an aggro deck.
Fun as long as you're sitting on this side of the card, the side, with the card facing you.
Right.
Reading it, not the side that has the 5 on it that also says, hey, you're going to have to work really hard to confront.
Yeah.
Like, really, really hard.
Yeah. And so this is I do encourage you to go check out the Meticulous Talks video of this, covering this in far more detail than I think it's really necessary to go into here, because he did a good job of that. But opposing characters here with the highest power amongst opposing characters can't contribute their power to confronting this problem. So if you have a, 6 power main because you've got a Staff of Sakanas somewhere, that main character's power is not going to be very useful here.
No, it's not. And even if you don't have a boosted power main, if your main is simply on their boosted side with the normal 3 power, that means anything your opponent has with 3 power cannot contribute towards confronting.
That doesn't just mean their main, that means friends that happen to be at 3 power as well.
So what could normally take 2 3-power characters, or a 3-power character and a 2-power character, is now going to require, well, you to either have a larger character than 3 power and then use your 3 power stuff to confront, or multiple small characters, which generally requires a much heavier investment card-wise.
Or a single Thunder Lane, which is very sad because a single Thunder Lane rolling up to this is going to be just like, oh, well, I guess I don't get to do anything here.
A single Thunder Lane rolling up to this is going to be like, haha, I'm here because my main has staff, so I'm K. Clearly.
I hope he spent all of his power counters getting there.
Hopefully so. On the controller's side, however, this is good to note, this is the second 2 yellow, 2 wild problem that we've seen in core.
That seems rather encouraging if you're running a yellow aggro deck.
Yeah, somehow I get the feeling that Fluttershy Nurturing Nature might really, really like this card.
That does seem kind of good.
Seems pretty easy to confront.
I mean, she obviously preferred if it's at 3, but you can't.
I mean, sure. No, gotta make it work at least a little bit. Alright, so that covers, I believe, all the spoilers that we've seen from the last week.
Yeah. Now, as Grandpa's mentioned earlier, there was that bit of text that said Harmony Unicorn and Harmony Changeling, and that inspired quite a bit of speculation.
Should we clear up some of this speculation?
I think it's about time to clear up some speculation. So, I believe Bugle called this that the set is, or one of the themes of the set is traits matter. And that is in fact correct. This is a tribal themed set. Now, tribal is a magic terminology, but essentially what this means is that Earth ponies, unicorns, Pegasi, changelings, dragons, and griffins. I heard 6 traits there.
I also heard 6 traits there.
Huh, it's like there's 6 colors. Huh. Well, let's take a look at some of this. First up, Aerobatics fan. Harmony Pegasus. When this or another one of your Pegasus friends enters play, you may move this card.
So this is kind of interesting because it can get around restrictions on playing cards in certain locations, since it can just move itself as soon as it enters play.
Mm-hmm. And the Harmony Pegasus text here doesn't actually mean anything other than just signifying that this is an ability that synergizes very well with other Pegasi.
Right. It's very much like the Chaos text, in that it's the text after the Chaos word that actually matters. The italicized text is merely an indicator as to what you might expect from the text. So, Harmony, insert tribe here, doesn't actually mean anything, except it indicates that the card, as Arcat said, will have synergies with Pegasus friends, or characters. And overall, this one's not bad. It's pretty basic at a 2 for 2, but it's also pretty good at allowing you to get some free movement out of it.
Yeah, and especially in a, blue-yellow aggro deck, the chosen colors of Pegasi.
What, you think there's some ways that Pegasi can be entering friends frequently? Or entering play frequently?
Yeah, or just being played, or, whatever.
Do we want to talk a little bit about the color combinations for the tribes?
I think that would probably be appropriate. So,
okay.
Pegasi, as, everyone already knows, are blue and yellow.
Mm-hmm. So the majority of Harmony Pegasus effects you're going to see on blue, yellow, or blue-yellow cards. Let's visit the next tribe.
Right, let's move on down the train here to... We've got Apple Bloom.
This card.
Scootaloo's face. Apple Bloom's face.
My face.
Your face? Why your face?
My face when you read this card and realize what this means.
Let's see here. When this or another one of your Earth Pony friends enters play, an opposing friend loses and can't have abilities until the end of the turn. I say.
Did you like running Limestone but hated paying 4 AT for it? Good news! Just play Earth Ponies.
Huh. I mean, to be fair, Limestone does happen at immediate speed. So this is unlikely to be messing with you on your turn, or messing with your opponent on their turn.
Speak for yourself, I'm going to be playing Hasty Pinkie Pies all day.
Alright. Yeah, except the Hasty Pinkie Pie is a sea pony. Good luck with
that. No, not that one. Philly's second.
Yeah, okay, fine. If you're messing with that, okay, let's be fair. If you're doing that, you're running pie eating contests and you're already going off. So
I mean, yeah, but
sure
but then I'm shutting off abilities.
Not
it's fine. Don't
sure if matters. Really not sure if matters.
The controller of Apple Bloom will choose which opposing friend loses the abilities. Fairy cards.
Yeah, and playing Limestone herself would also trigger this, which is just...
And you can play Party Favor, who then retires to make Earth Ponies, who then trigger this, and then just cascade of no abilities.
Yeah, but I think this will result in a interesting set of tactical options for Orange. And, of course, the other Earth Pony color, pink.
Correct.
Where if you need to shut off something annoying on your opponent's side of the field...
Well, here's 1 AT. And you're getting
Apple Bloom might have a solution for you.
And a great face as well. And Scootaloo's face helps so much. It is also worth noting that we haven't seen a ton of orange aggro-costed cards. We've seen some of them, but it's always great seeing something like this. A very, very cheap, power-efficient, or over-efficient card.
Mm-hmm.
And a nice low rec, too. Very solid. Okay, so moving on from orange and pink with Earth Ponies, what's the next tribe?
What do you mean? I already said pink was Earth Ponies. Well, pink can be Griffins too. We got Gilda here, bringing some Griffin scones.
Griffin scones and Griffin stone.
Mm-hmm.
And letting you pay less for your first Griffin friend each turn. Now, we've already seen Gilda before, and several other Griffins. Although I think it's mostly been Gilda. And apart from pink, the other color we've seen them in has been blue.
And those will be the Griffin colors.
And it's like there's been a blue and a pink deck in the past that likes playing lots of hasty friends. So I wonder if being able to play Griffins on both your and your opponent's turn and have them cost less, or, sorry, have you spend less to play them.
We'll have to keep an eye on that one.
Also note, this does not say to a minimum of 1.
No, it does not.
It also is not unique.
No, it is not.
So if you can get 2 of these out here, your first Griffin friend each turn will cost you 2 AT less.
Concern intensifies? Maybe only if you're a control player.
Something, Hot Wings, something. Legends Never Die.
Nah, maybe.
Alright, so that makes up 3 of our tribes so far.
Well, we're obviously going to do purple next. Anyone want to guess what tribe we're going to be doing this time?
Clearly, Pegasus. Again.
More Pegasi? Wait, didn't we already call the other color for Pegasi?
Yes, we did.
Smiles? There we go. Alright, no, it's definitely Smiles. I don't think that's much of a smile.
No. Godot says Changelings.
So with purple, we've got dragons. How to tame your dragon jokes aside, please. Thanks. Because he's clearly not toothless, because he's got a couple of teeth sticking out there. Okay, so what we have here, your troublemakers here have 1 more power for each of your dragon characters.
Not for each of your dragon characters here, for each of your dragon characters anywhere.
Yeah. That's kind of interesting, because that's that implies that dragons are going to be good at troublemaker control. Because that's a card that just says, if I've got a lot of dragons, I'm going to have a problem doing anything with my troublemakers.
Yes, indeed. We've already seen a purple dragon character, actually, that has no color requirement, that drops a troublemaker into play face up. You can play that, and then play Charcoal, and you've got 4 power in characters there at the problem, and your troublemaker has +2 power.
Huh.
Werefrog brings up an excellent point. The Traveler Spike is obviously a very good
dragon?
purple, is a dragon, and is in purple. But purple's not the only color that we're going to see dragons in.
Dragons are also orange. And that
So orange-
sounds, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Now, we've seen dragons in a number of different colors before, but for Friends Forever, the primary focus is going to be on orange and purple. And we still haven't seen an orange dragon yet, so we'll have to see what comes from that. But for now, we can at least see strong synergies with troublemakers.
Right, let's see. I think our next color is white.
Anyone want to take a guess on white?
Anyone?
Anyone? Bueller?
No. Oh, seriously? Rainbows? Yep, rainbows. All right.
Sure.
Moving right along. Rainbows.
Mm-hmm. Fairy says
It is,
unicorns.
in fact, unicorns. We've got Sweetie Belle, Field Twirler, whose love of twirling in fields is directly proportional to her love of musicals, both of whom are infinite. Because she's got some serious field twirling to do.
So much twirls. You spin me right round.
Mm-hmm. With Harmony Unicorn. Main phase, exhaust this card to give one of your unicorn characters +1 power for each event in your discard pile until the end of turn. Hey, don't unicorns and the other unicorn color purple really like playing events? So it's going to be like you have a ton of events in your discard pile?
Yeah, I hear purple and white have good events. Like you can play just like hyper event control.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be cool?
But then it's really hard to dedicate a board state to, confronting and stuff. What if you didn't have to? What if you were like, well, my main's up there at, that problem, and now it has like +6 power.
Let's see, this is from Surf and or Turf. Because this is harmonizing heights. She did say she had some serious field twirling to do, to be fair.
Yep, Godot is right.
Yeah. This seems like it could make a event heavy deck go really fast.
At least a lot faster. This does not require a large AT investment to get online, and it's reusable every single turn, so if you've got unicorns kind of scattered across the board, you can kind of choose where that power goes.
And of course, it means that the power drops off until the end of the turn, which does not leave you confronting. Also a great note. I mean, it would be kind of silly if it just permanently increased their power.
Must have more power.
Yes. I will also note that this says characters, so this does work with mains. That might be very relevant for some things, especially if you happen to be running, I don't know, Staff of Sacanis?
Tempest, cough.
Tempest, Just saying.
Yep, so unicorns backing up their traditional control colors of white and purple, which means we have one more tribe to go.
And unfortunately, no points for guessing either the color or the tribe.
Because we're down to only one choice.
On each, and
Obligatory hissing noises.
being facetious here. Because
Godot, it's Pikachu!
of course, no, it's actually a Jigglypuff as seen from above. So we have the Changelings here, in yellow. And for those of you paying attention, every color other than white has already been chosen as a secondary color for each of the tribes. And so Changelings will, of course, be yellow and white. And so here we've got a Harmony Changeling with a Chaos effect, When this card is flipped, you may put it into play. So, Shades of Brian. Alright. And if you would put any number of flipped Changelings friends on the bottom of your deck, you may put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom instead. Shades of several older cards, actually.
Vapor Trail.
But this, I think, is rather amusing because if you're in yellow and are flipping multiple cards and you flip this can go into play, and then if you have another Changeling flipped in the same face-off, you can then recover something else from your flipped cards.
It's almost like Changelings like to swarm.
We have a bunch of them.
It's almost like this card has Swarm in its subtitle.
Yeah.
So those are going to be our 6 tribes for Friends Forever. Griffins in blue and pink. Dragons in orange and purple. Changelings in yellow and white. Unicorns in purple and white. Earth ponies in orange and pink. And Pegasi in blue and yellow.
And so the there seems to be an awful lot of harmony stuff going on that seems to like having friends, which I suppose is appropriate given that the set's name is Friends Forever.
I mean, you would think so, right? But friends hardly last forever in this meta. Every time I play a friend, it just gets eaten.
Interesting. What if there were a way to change that?
Are you saying there's a way to make the friends last forever?
Maybe.
Who's ready for an ultra rare?
What, you mean like the one that we already had at the beginning? Because if it's another ultra rare like that, I could be down with this.
No, Fairy's ready for an ultra rare. Who's ready for a card with the main 6 on it? Or one of the main 6 at least.
Wait, we're getting a reprint of Party Planners with a different subtitle?
Never.
And it steals things from the adjacent games?
No. Oh, Sonnet's ready as well. Okay, we got a couple people ready.
All right. So let's go one further. How about a tricolor card? So, tricolor, main 6, ultra rare. This sounds like a.
This does sound like a princess.
And indeed, it is Princess Twilight Sparkle, Endless Friendship.
Let's just let this one soak in for a moment.
Well, the first thing I'd like to call out here is the DreamWorks face.
I can never unsee that now.
You're welcome. But keeping with the tricolor princesses from Sequestria, we have a 5 power, 5 cost, 3 color with 2 requirement in orange, purple, and yellow.
That's a very unusual color combination.
It is a very unusual color combination. But it does seem kind of in line with what Twilight does.
Uh-huh.
And it also seems kind of in line with what's going on in the text box here.
Let's take a look. It's got 3 abilities, just like the previous tricolor cards.
So first off, we've got your other characters have +2 power. That's global.
Includes your main. Includes everything. Hmm.
That's a bit of a game changer. Like, the only thing I think we've seen that on before is the Critter Choir, but this just says everything. And it's like, okay, and that's just how things are from now on. It's not bad. Next thing she says is, your friends can't be frightened. No, like, restrictions on this, not your large enough friends or anything else, just your friends can't be frightened. So, Blue, get out of here and close the door on your way out. And then the last ability, and this one's kind of a whopper. If one of your friends would leave play, you may pay 2 tokens and exhaust this card to banish that friend until the end of the turn instead.
As Twilight presumably teleports them somewhere safe.
Teleports them off to safety. So, what this basically says is that a friend suddenly gets a lot more powerful. Now, as people in chat are noting, this does not protect against Twilight getting stolen somehow.
But thankfully, she's in the colors of Desert Road. Or the color, rather.
And that can put a pretty quick stop to anything that might cause Twilight's allegiance to change.
She's also, of course, in the color of Interdimensional Portal as well.
So, even if she does get stolen, she may not stay stolen for very long. But looking at her abilities here, essentially, you're going to have a very, very hard time getting rid of her. If you try to remove her, she's just going to sit there and you have 2 tokens left, she's just going to sit there and say, you know what, I'd rather not.
And here's the thing to think about as well. Your opponent might be running pink. They might be running belly flop. But you're only allowed to run 3 copies of any single given card in your deck. Let's say you've got something especially scary out there on the field. Like, I don't know, a day shift maybe?
Bunyips.
Or even just bunyips. Something that's going to win you the game.
Although bunyips actually will not work here because your friends can't be frightened.
Ah, that's true.
Ironically enough.
Yeah, probably don't play with bunyip. Your opponent's going to need 2 removal spells to deal with, removal events to deal with any single character you have. And in the case of Twilight, they're going to need them, forever, basically. Because Twilight can banish herself.
And admittedly, that does turn her other abilities off, which opens the door for further interference. But she'll be back next turn. And you had to burn a piece of removal in order to get her to go away. Temporarily.
It's also worth noting that Twilight also enters play readied again. So if your opponent's trying to deal with Twilight, but you can out-leverage them in terms of action tokens, maybe by playing that new Starlight Glimmer Guidance Counselor card and Paper Twilight, Factory Jack, and all those other cards that are totally within these colors.
And make action tokens? I think all of them are in these colors?
Yep. It's like Sunburst, or it's like Twilight's going to be really, really, really difficult to remove.
Seems good. This is a rather impactful card.
So hopefully this gives some creative deck builders some ideas for a tricolor combination that otherwise you might not have looked super closely at.
Yeah.
Godo says Twilight and 12 AT gens, I approve.
That sounds good. Why don't we go Twilight, and hey, she shares 2 colors with Luna.
Hey, we could throw Luna in here. Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, that seems good. I like that.
She also shares purple with, like, Wax and Wane, and
All these other cool cards that
yellow
gave you
with, like,
tokens
yellow with, like, Day Shift, and purple with, like, Paper Twilight, and... So, the Werefrog asks, what happens if you temporarily steal this and then belly flop it into the opponent's thing and try to use her ability? Well, there's a couple things wrong with that. The first one is, belly flop is phrased where the retire a friend is a cost, meaning you cannot replace that cost. Second, if Twilight ever leaves play, when she re-enters play, it will be under her owner's control.
Right. So this is why, for example, if she gets stolen, her owner could portal her to bring her back under their control. And they can also do that at immediate speed before their opponent could, for example, belly flop Twilight into something else.
Yep. Twilight's kind of a monster.
I mean, she is a criminal mastermind, responsible for most of the banned cards in some way or another.
We'll have to see what people can do.
See, and I think that's about the end of the interesting spoilers that we've got today. Hopefully we'll see a few more in the coming weeks.
Hopefully so, indeed. I think it's something we can count on. That will wrap up our discussion on the spoilers for today, though, and we'd like to give a big shout out to all of our patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for your regular support, and if you aren't currently a patron but you enjoy what we do, please consider donating, as doing so enables us to continue making content like this. If you have comments or questions you'd like to send our way, or if you're just interested in hearing about what we're working on for the future, there are many ways you can stay in contact. We have our Patreon, as mentioned previously, but you can also reach us through Facebook, Twitter, and email. Patrons at or above the $5 per month level also get access to our Slack channel, where you can chat live with us any day, anytime. I was up at 3 in the morning.
What is sleep?
I'll let you know when I find it. If you're looking to watch any of our previous videos, including tournament recordings, you can find them on our YouTube channel, which is linked in the sidebar, and if you hit the subscribe button while you're there, we can get our channel URL to make a little bit more sense.
Because I like remembering that random string that is our actual channel URL. Like, seriously, it'd almost make a good password if you just could remember it.
Yep. With all that said, thank you to each and every one of our viewers, both here now and watching this recording later. We are, as always, Commentary is Magic. I am, as always, Grandpaws.
Big Cheese is still 30,000 feet in the air. And I'm Aracat.
We'll see you all next week. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, indeed. Bye-bye.